to Get Celebritized. I'm your host, Aurea McGarry, and today I am super excited to bring you this phenomenal, gorgeous, stylish woman. This woman I am so excited to talk to. Let me tell you what her name is and what she does. Then you understand why I'm so honored to have her here today. She is Michele Nidiffer. She is a master style coach. She's the founder of StyleFinder Boutique and a host of the podcast. Yep, she's got a podcast, Style by Michele. And she's on a mission to empower women through personal style. She already has 157,000 enthusiastic followers on Instagram. She is making her mark. She's on a mission to help us women have better self-esteem, feel better about ourselves. And without me rambling on any further, I'm going to bring her on up to the show. Michele, get up here. Welcome to the show.
Aurea, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for that great introduction.
Thank you. I am more happy to have you here because style and body image and self-esteem and women feeling beautiful inside out is such a passion of mine because I've seen it in myself. I know I have daughters. I've seen so much go on in the girl world because I'm surrounded by girls. I'm surrounded in a business that supports and helps women. And it's a whole different mindset and a whole different topic that we deal with that men, I know some do, but for women, it's something very different and special. So tell us who your ideal client is, who you really love to help, and what you're actually doing right now to help them. And then we'll unfold how you got here.
Absolutely. My ideal client is a midlife woman who has come to the point in her life and her body has changed and she's having a hard time getting dressed. She's looking in the mirror thinking, do I still have it? Am I still pretty? And what's next for me? And so it's really someone in their, 40s, 50s, 60s who's tired of feeling like they're looking frumpy and ready to rediscover what their style is so that they can enter their next chapter with style and with grace.
Oh, I cannot wait to delve and dive into this topic, Michele. Now, I've seen your Instagram. It's so good. You do tutorials, you show color matching, you show what colors go good together, you're showing the leathers. I love when you call it liquid leathers, and it's just so informative. So I'm going to dive right into some sensitive questions right now. You really hit a hot topic with me, and I know many other women that have this hot topic about us getting older and changing and not knowing how to go into our closet that's now maybe we don't fit into everything. And I'm going to say, since especially the quarantine, I know it's affected me. I've always been body conscious. I've never been thin enough in my eyes. I've been a size 5. I've been a size 12, been everything in between. So many sizes, and they get all caught up in our closet. But after the pandemic, I kind of call it, whether you want to call it pandemic butt or podcasting butt, I've been sitting on my butt for like 3 years now, doing the online world because we couldn't go out and do what we normally do. And now I get up and I literally, okay, I feel fine from the waist up, but from the waist down, I'm feeling, I don't fit into my pants. I see you look adorable in pants. You got beautiful legs. And I'm looking, wow, your legs are so pretty. I feel, like you said, fat and frumpy from the waist down. How do you make somebody like me get up, feel good about walking out the door when nothing really fits? I don't want to wear a muumuu and I don't feel confident from just 2 or 3 years ago.
Aurea, this is such a great question. And I feel like I've talked with so many women who are in this situation. In fact, I just coached someone this morning on this very situation, and she's making herself wrong. She's hating her body. And honestly, that's my story. And, we'll dive into that in a few minutes. But it really starts with a reframe. And I like to tell my clients how we see ourselves, we're in charge of that. We can shift that. And I know it can be really, really tricky. But for me, what my approach is really to start with gratitude. And it's so easy to look in the mirror and say, my butt's too big, my thighs are too big, I've got a tummy, I've got this. But what if you reframe and you start to see your body as a gift? You start to see your body as this healthy, strong, amazing tool that you have, and really start to focus in on, well, what's great about me? Do I have great eyes? Maybe I'll wear a color that can pop my eyes. Does my hair look great today? I'm having a good hair day. Then I'm going to wear something that can play my hair up. And then the cool thing that happens, whether you're working with clients online or you get out in public and go to the coffee shop or go to the office, people see you in those colors and they're like, wow, you look amazing today. And you're like, yeah, I've got it going on. It starts to boost your confidence a little bit. That's one way to do it. Another way is really to focus on the gratitude, and then to really start to shift and be grateful that, you know what, a lot of people would give anything to be my size. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of people would trade with me in a heartbeat. And to really focus on what we have and not what we don't have, that makes all the difference. But it starts with not only what we think about ourselves, but what we say to ourselves.
Yeah.
And so my client this
Yeah.
morning,
We
she
wouldn't
told
allow
me,
other people to talk to us like we do.
I know, like we're our own worst enemy. But my client this morning told me, she said, I hate my body. Like,
Mm-hmm.
think about this. Like, if we're looking in the mirror and saying, I hate my body, like that, it's this negative energy. And then we walk out the door, or we get online, or, we move through our day feeling that hate, that feeling of just self-loathing. And it's this discomfort. It's a
Right.
discomfort, and it's a disconnect from who we truly are.
Right.
But when we can reframe and start to, you might not be able to say, okay, I love my body, but meet yourself where you are. And you can start to say, well, I'm learning to appreciate my body. I'm learning to love my body.
Yeah.
And, just take baby steps.
Sure. Instead of thinking, oh, I'll feel better when I lose 10 pounds, or I'll feel better when I get back to where I was, because that, can happen slowly. Maybe it won't, you don't know, but you're choosing to be happy when something changes instead of right now. And I get what you're saying, because I'm always very grateful that I'm cancer free. I never take that for granted. I'm very grateful I have all my limbs and I'm healthy. That does make a huge difference for me. So I just wanted to touch that. Although we've tried to not talk about the superficial, to women it does matter, and we're many of us we struggle with it. We know what to think about. We know what's right. We do appreciate it, but we get now caught up in, oh, okay, now I just don't look good on my clothes. So enter your styles. Okay,
Yeah.
I totally am embracing and saying yes to the mindset. I get that, and I will work on that. And I know the other women that relate to what I'm saying will do that too. Okay, so now back to my closet, I'm thinking, do I wear pants? Do I wear leggings? Do I stay away from leggings? What's going to make me feel and look a little bit more lean, a little bit more like I can make an entrance now that I know I love my body no matter what size it is. I'm alive, I'm well, I'm healthy, appreciating what I have. So now how do I look better? I'm terrible at style. My older daughter styles me. When I look good, she dressed me. She knows how to squeeze me into all sorts of cool stuff that I would never normally take off the rack. But I don't always have her with me in my closet. So you can always tell when I dress myself. She goes, Mom, you wear your clothes too big, because I'm trying to hide my flaws. She goes, Mom, no. And she puts me in these really beautiful things that are probably 3 sizes smaller than I would have ever taken off the rack. So what can you do to help us in our closet to make these good choices so we feel good, but also do look better than if we just didn't take so much thought for it and throw a muumuu on or leggings and a big shirt?
Absolutely. Well, it starts with, and actually I've worked with so many clients, especially during and after the pandemic, who have come in to me and said, well, I've gained 10 pounds. I can't buy clothes.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, it's not about the money piece of it. It's the message you're sending to yourself. It's basically, you're saying to yourself, I am not worthy of anything new. And that's just not true, because style is not a reward for losing weight. And the truth is that, we deserve to have great style no matter where we are in our journey. And when we can just get away from the weight, get away from the size. There was one client that came in to see me. She heard me say, style is not a reward for losing weight. She called and she's like, you know what? I've been trying to squeeze my butt into size 10 pounds for a whole year. Now, this is a woman who is an uber successful real estate agent. She's in front of people. She's out there. She's making stuff happen. She's helping people buy the home of their dreams. But she was telling herself a story that I don't deserve to buy new pants. Could she afford it? Absolutely. But once she heard that, she was like, you know what? I should go buy new pants. Men go out and buy new pants, right? They're like, hey, I gained 30 pounds. Let me go, up
They
to
don't care.
They don't care. They just want to look good, and they don't care how much money they spend. And
Right.
so my client came in, she got a new pair of pants and was like, oh my gosh, like, why did I wait so long?
Mm-hmm.
And
Is there a trick to buying the right pair of pants? We've heard this many times
yeah,
over the decades of how to get a great pair of fitting jeans or the right cuff length, the right waist, whether it's low rise or high rise. What say you about when we go and we see all these different pants? How do we know where to start? What's going to complement us the best for whatever size we are? And I love that you're in your closet because I love your Instagram. You take all these things out and you show us on you what looks good. And I just love that. So pants is an issue for many of us. So talk to us how we can buy a nice pair of pants
well, I
that
have a
fit
great
well.
solution. I have an entire podcast
Ooh.
episode that I did, and it's
Oh,
called How to Get Pants That Fit. And it honestly was one of my first, I want to say it was like my first 10 episodes. And I have a
really?
whole acronym that I go through. It's WITH. And so first you want to look at the waist. Does it fit in the waist? Because if it doesn't fit in the waist, there might be some considerations there. If you carry most of your weight in your butt and your hips, your thighs, oftentimes the waist will be too big. And so you want to ask
Mhm.
yourself, does it fit in other places and can the waist be altered? The I
Okay.
is for what we call the intersection area. You don't want any camel toes. You don't want any wedgies. You don't want it like riding high and being uncomfortable. You don't want it rippling. You don't want it pulling. You also don't want it too loose in the crotch, really the crotch area. So the
Mhm.
intersection area. The T is for thigh. You want to look at the back of the thigh. If it's pulling, if it's too tight, it's going to ripple and it's not going to look good. But also, oftentimes, it will be way too baggy in the back of the thigh. So, back of
Right.
the thigh, and then H is for hem. And so, you want it to be the right hem. There are a lot of things that go into it. And I go into more detail in the podcast. But
Oh, sure.
you want to try your pants on with the shoes that you'll wear it with the heel height. And
Okay.
then, if they're not the right length, could you have them shortened or are they too short? Do you need to go for a
Mhm.
longer length? And so those are the four acronyms,
Great.
or that is the one
I love
acronym,
that.
the four letters to think about, WITH. And so if
I
just
love that.
think about that in your head when you're in the fitting room, like, okay, those are some checkpoints that I know I need to look for.
Great example. I love when you can make little shortcuts, and now I can remember that. Let me ask you this: leggings. The tight leggings. Yes or no?
Leggings are not pants, Araya.
All right, that's what I'm asking. Yeah, leggings. Yes or no? Should we wear them or
However,
not wear them? Is there a limit? Is there
however,
a size? Is there an age? Talk to us about leggings.
well, this is the thing about women's fashion. I think why it's so confusing because there are no absolutes.
Oh, that's good to
And
know.
so if you're going to put on a pair of leggings that are like super thin and wear them with pants or wear them as pants with a top and your butt's not covered, your crotch area is not covered, that might not be what you want to wear to the office or for a more professional setting. However, what if there were some thicker leggings? Maybe they're a ponte knit. They're meant to be worn as pants. They're almost like a skinny jean, but they're a ponte knit or a
Okay.
skinny pant. And you wear those with your boots. You've got a long blazer that covers your bum. Those might look absolutely professional. But the one thing, excuse me, the one thing to ask yourself is, how do I feel? How does it make me feel? If I'm like, well, I'm not sure means no.
Okay.
And so, but if you look in the mirror and you're like, oh my gosh, I am loving my outfit. These pants like make me look like $1,000,000. Bingo.
So it goes back to how we feel. If we feel confident and we know
Mm.
everything is like looking good in the right place, and I like that you said not too thin because that's always the thing. I look at that. If they're too thin, then you can see any of the ripples. I feel like you're just wearing pantyhose or something. So I like a good heavier legging. But I love leggings like we're talking about like the yoga pants stuff. They're so comfortable. So that's I want your opinion. Should I be wearing them? Should I not? But dressing them up is always an option as well. So now let's find out a little bit before we get into more your style. I just hope everybody will go to your shop, stylefinder.com. It's just filled with wonderful information. And your Instagram is just phenomenal. So fun. You get in there, you really show different colors together. You show different styles. You show different textures. And you model them on the air, on Instagram so we can see how these things look together. And it's just brilliant. I love it. So how did you get started in all this? There's so many people that do style, but you really have a mission to help us feel better about ourselves as well as look beautiful on the outside. So how did this all get started?
Well, I actually was a clothing designer. I started sewing when I was about 5 years old.
Did you
And
really?
I did. My mom quilted, she sewed. And so 5, 6 years old, I would be pulling scraps out of her fabric bags. And I used to
Fun.
make Barbie clothes and clothes for my dolls and pillows. And I made everything.
Oh, wow. That's
And
cool.
I loved it. And I remember being, way back when and just feeling this, having this knowing of like, you're going to be a clothing designer. So I was a clothing designer for about 12 years, 10, 12 years. And then it just, life kind of happened and I kind of got burned out.
Were you
And
in New York?
no, I never actually left North Carolina.
Okay.
So I had my own shop. We did cottage industry, but we sold around the US and Canada.
Okay.
And then I just kind of got burned out. I was like, all right, what's next? It was time for me to start having kids. And I got into beauty and style blogging because that's kind of where I was. I had my first child and I remember holding my child in my hip and like putting my mascara on. I was like, I don't know what's in style. My body's changed. Like, here I am, somebody who's into fashion and I don't even know what to wear anymore. And my first thought was, there must be other women out there who feel the same way. Let me get online and find some resources.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't find anything. And so I started a beauty and style blog. And years ago, it was called One Chic Mama. And it was about bringing out that chic mama inside all of us.
I like that.
Thank you. And things just started progressing. And I remember one day thinking, there's more to this. Like, there is more that I'm supposed to be doing with this. And I was doing some mind mapping and I wrote down image consulting. I had never thought about being an image consultant or a style coach or anything like that. And my first thought was, absolutely not. I am not going to be an image consultant. And then I had this feeling of like, you get to be an image consultant. I'm like, okay. Actually, and then literally over the next week, I had 2 people reach out and say, hey, can you help me clean out my closet? Can you take me shopping? Can you help me know what to wear? I'm like, okay, I get it now.
Fine.
I design.
Is that
And
what you do for your clients? Do you help clean out closets and build them a whole new wardrobe and keep what needs to be kept and throw out what needs to be thrown out?
I don't anymore. When
Okay.
I first started in 2008, and that's, that was my business model. It's very local. I worked with
Right.
clients. They come, I had women come from all over the US and they'd sit down in my studio. And then I started working with women virtually. It's definitely evolved. And as we started StyleFinder, or actually, I'm sorry. I became a style coach in 2008. So 15 years ago. And then in 2015, 8 years ago, we started StyleFinder. And so we actually named it after one of the proprietary systems that I created. And so I use it with my private clients to help them really understand what their style is. Because I think even though when I felt like I lost my style, I always knew what my style was. I always knew, ooh, that's right for me. And here's how I put it together. And so many women came to me and said, I have no idea what my style is. I'm like, really? When I found out so many women don't like to shop and I love to shop. And I'm like, oh, okay. I just thought everybody was like me. And, you don't know what you don't know. And I realized, okay, women don't know what their style is. How can I help them figure it out? So I created this whole assessment that I use that really pinpoints, we call it your StyleFinder ID. So mine, I'm dramatic, romantic, and classic.
Ooh.
And it's the combination of words and how you put them together. And then, it can also tie into your personal brand. And it really helps you to hone in on what's right for you.
Is that in the app? I put the app because I know you have the app on Androids and iPhones, StyleFinder Boutique. Find it on all your phones. Where do we find this style quiz?
That actually is only for my high-level private clients. Gotcha. Now, I will tell you, we do have a mini quiz. Like, that's the full-blown assessment. We do have a mini quiz that is something you can take in our School of Style.
Oh, yes. I saw you have a School of Style. That's on your website. So they can go to the school, go to your website, stylefinder.com, and there's a link on there for your school. So is the school something we do online and we can learn all about this to learn our brand and our style?
Yeah, so the School of Style, basically, I wanted to create it. So we do monthly master classes. We have live Q&As. We have, what we call style soirees. I call it more of like a style sisterhood. You can come and learn all things style, but you can connect with other women of like minds. You can talk about, last night we had a great Q&A call. And we ended up talking about like body image and, self-image and how we see ourselves. And
So
it
it's
was
virtual. You can be anywhere in the country or the world and join in.
world. Yeah, we've
The
got women
world.
all over the world. So yeah, it's
I
a lot of
love
fun.
that. I love that. You know what I heard what you just said, Michelle, and I know the listeners of yours love to talk a little bit about business and success. And you've really taken this to a great level of success. Like I said before, 157,000 followers on Instagram is nothing to sneeze at, and it's wonderful, big audacious dream that's come to fruition. Take us back for a second, and if you could give tips to a woman that's no matter what her idea is right now, you birthed a business from a need you have, and that's some of the best businesses in the world that have come to fruition from here's a problem I have. Oh, I bet other people have it too. Let me solve it. The best inventions, the best gadgets, the best hacks from I need help with this. I bet others do too. And you came up with this wonderful, wonderful business because there wasn't resources back then for women like yourself. And come to find out, probably every woman has something that they want to talk about, ask about having to do with style or body image. I think none of us feel like we're perfect and walk out the door all glorious without some kind of help or something. So when you decided, okay, I want to do this, what are some tips for business that you can give us that took you from, oh, I think I'd like to make this happen to putting it into fruition? I know you started blogging, but beyond that, what happened to bring this into brick and mortar and into life that you have now?
Well, I would say if somebody's thinking about starting a business, take that first step. Do not second guess yourself, because I think so many women get stuck in that. You want to wait till it's perfect and you've got to have the beautiful logo and the beautiful website. And you may take a lot of time and a lot of money and a lot of energy to do that. And then you realize, oh, I don't know who my target market is. I don't know what their needs are. Take that first step, get out there, do it messy. And you're going to attract your ideal client. And you might have an idea of who your ideal client is, but they're going to tell you, they're going to come find you. And then you can listen. They're going to tell you, hey, I'm dealing with this and I'm dealing with this. And you might not have any idea. You might be really close, but you're not sure. Or you might say exactly what you want to say. And they're like, oh my gosh, where have you been all my life?
Because when you said you wanted to do this, you said just that week alone, 2 women came up to you and ask you your advice. So is that kind of like one of the best ways to start? You find people that have the need that you have or that you're solving, and do some testing, do some things for free before you start the logo, the website, and all that. Do you find that was the route you took?
Absolutely. I mean, to be honest, I put it out there to the universe. I'm like, I think I want to do this. And the universe said, okay, I'm going to bring you some people. And so what I did after that, I had not put out any kind of announcement. I mean, this was before Facebook, or kind of like when Facebook was just getting started. So it wasn't really a thing. So, I didn't really put it out there.
Yeah.
It was really just kind of a word of mouth thing. But after that, I'm like, okay, I'm doing this. I'm going to get certified. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to work with 5 people for free. I'm going to get testimonials. I'm going to get in their closet. I'm going to take them through the whole thing. And I'm going to start seeing like, what are their biggest needs? And so I did that. I created my packages. I put it out there and I just started doing it. And I didn't have a website at first. I did eventually, but I didn't have a website. It was like, okay, who do you know? Who do you know who would benefit from this? And I'm like, oh my gosh, like I know 5 people. And so I started doing style parties. I'd speak, I'd, get in front of people however I could. I did a lot of speaking back then.
Oh, that's
and
great.
that was number one way. And now we have such a great opportunity to speak, quote unquote, like, being on podcasts or just turning on our phone and doing an Instagram live, a Facebook live.
Don't you love social media now? We didn't used to have it.
Where's it been all my life?
I know it's changed the game, especially for somebody like you that we need to see the visual, but you can't be in everyone's house and you can just go live and everybody gets alerted you're live and we can watch you and see you do a quick style tip. And I love that. It's such a great way to tap into you. So let's talk a little about now, okay, there's so many women that would want to hire you. How does that work? Is it, now this is a relative word. If I say, is it affordable? Affordable for one person is not affordable for another. So what is like their customer journey? Do you have some free things and then you move them up into a little more mid-range? And then I know you have your high-end clients. What does it kind of look like as far as price-wise, what the investment would be? And how long do you work with the woman to get her to the end result that she's looking for?
Right. Well, I've really kind of taken my one-on-one work. I work with some high-level one-on-one clients, but I've really tried to take what I do and put it into the School of Style. So to answer your question, yes, we have a first step. It's called How to Find Your Signature Style. And everything that I'm talking about, you can find links in my Instagram. That's probably the best way to go to find it. But we have a course, it's $47, and it is the very first step for somebody who says, I don't know what my style is. It gives you 3 of your signature colors. It helps you understand what your body type is and what some of your signature silhouettes are. And then that's when you take that's when you take the style ID quiz. And so you find one of your style words. And so it's enough to kind of point you in the right direction without overwhelming you.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Step by step. That's great. And tell me what your Instagram, because your Instagram isn't the same as Shop Style Finder. What's your
No,
Instagram handle?
my Instagram is Style by Mary Michele. It's the same as my podcast.
Style by Mary Michele. Okay, great.
Yep.
Super. And I'll put it in the description as well. Okay, so now to get that and then feeling a little bit better, you all know I'm talking about me, right? So I get in and I do that and I'm feeling a little better about myself. I'm like, okay, get some of this going. Then what's the next step that we could take?
Well, the next step would be to come join us in School of Style, because in there, not only do we teach monthly master classes and have spotlight coaching calls and style soirees and parties, we have several courses that you could take. So the next step would be when you join for the year, when you're a VIP in there, you get access to, it's called 7 Steps to Signature Style. And so I'd like to teach them what I call building blocks. And so it takes what you've learned and how to find your signature style, and it builds on that. And it takes you deeper into it so that you can create your color capsule, so that you can really start to understand what to wear for your body type and how to put it all together, how to wear accessories, how to, just really how to go deeper with it, how to make your look more personal. And then I have something in there. It's called, it helps you to really understand some of your best colors. I've got a module in there called 3 Colors That Will Change Your Life. And they're different from the 3 colors that you're going to learn in the first course. But I have several other courses in there around color, around cleaning out your closet. I'm always adding new courses. And I believe in January, probably the first of the year, we're going to be adding some more things about body love and body image.
Speaking my language.
It's so intertwined.
I love this so much because it's so important for us women. Also, I learned it's very, very important as us moms that how we look at ourselves is how our daughters can pick up. Because I remember one of my daughters would say, I'm always saying how much I've always wanted to lose weight. I'm always they're beautiful. I'm always telling them how beautiful they are because they're perfect. But then I'm bad on myself. Like, Mom, how can we feel good about ourselves if you're always downing yourself? We don't realize how they're hearing what we're saying to ourselves. We think, we're just putting ourselves down. That doesn't matter. We're lifting them up. But they're watching and learning from us, which is so important that we talk love to ourselves. And I know that's really, really important. Can you tell us some, maybe a success story or two? I know when I used to do beauty and makeup, I used to Mary Kay, One Pink Cadillacs. I loved everything about that. It was so much fun. Did for like 20 years. That's why I really fell in love with women in general, because I was brought up in New York City, did show business, and girlfriends were hard to find in the show business world back in the day. But when I got into Mary Kay, it was so uplifting, and we really worked with that beauty and how it could make a difference how you feel during the day. That's the risks you take, getting job offers or asking for promotions, or taking that bold step because you feel more confident when you feel you get a glimpse of yourself in the mirror and your makeup's on point. It doesn't have to be overdone, but you look beautiful to yourself. Like, I can ask for that raise today, or I can go and get that loan from the bank. How have you seen that affect your clients with the body image and wearing the right clothes to emulate that same self-confidence?
I mean, how much time do we have? I can tell you success story after success story.
Give us your best ones.
Gosh, well,
or maybe most
probably,
memorable ones.
Yeah, I remember years ago, one of my clients, Nancy, she's a beautiful woman. She had struggled with some personal loss in her life and was just, had gone through a lot, and she was getting ready to step out and launch her business. She wanted to get out there and be a speaker, be on stage. And to look at her, you could tell she was holding herself small, and she was dressing in a very conservative, quiet, like, don't look at me kind of way. And I remember when we first looked at her, or when we first worked together, and she came into the boutique, and then, back then we had a physical boutique. We don't anymore, but we worked together, and then she was trying some things on, and she went into the fitting room, and she came out and looked in the mirror, and it was like, oh, like the clouds had parted, and it was, and my first thought, and what she said to me afterwards was priceless. It was like, she sees she sees who she really is.
Oh.
She sees who she knows she is. And it was like this, oh my gosh, like I can't even describe it. It was just this feeling. And I was like, oh my gosh, like we nailed it. I was so excited for her.
That makes such a difference.
And what I saw happen after that, she got on, she started a podcast. She's been on stages. Her confidence level just through the roof. And she's just so much more empowered. And I like to say that my passion is empowering women through personal style, because style is such a great tool. We get dressed every day. And when we can learn to leverage our style and use it to work for us and not against us, that's power. And when I saw Nancy, I was like, job done.
I love it. You said something too before you said you love to shop. You love it kind of comes naturally to you, and you just thought all women did. I've had this conversation with my daughter, Angelica. She's just got, my mom was a cosmopolitan model. My mom had great taste. She was like you. She could put an outfit together. She never left the house not looking just fantastic. She knew her style. She had quality taste. She was always into buying quality clothes. She said the classics will last. I came out of her as a tomboy, and I'm like, I need animals to put outfits together. So she would always, help me with, picking out clothes. And now my daughter, skipping me, her gift went to my daughter, and my daughter can walk into a rack and, like I said, pick out things, and it's just magical. It is a gift. And I always told her, I said, you should do something like this, because there's so many women like me. Because she thought, just like you did, well, doesn't everybody know how to do this? I'm like, no. I walk into Macy's and I see just a bunch of clothes. I know what I like when I see them. Like, oh, that looks really good. When I watch you on Instagram, I'm like, wow, you look so put together. But then if I go see a rack, I don't know what to pick first. I don't know what to make it fit. So this is so important. I'm really excited about joining your courses and being part of your community, because I think more women are like me than like you and my daughter that have this special gift to go and be able to coordinate outfits and accessorize. It's definitely a gift, a talent. And then women like you take it to, and men as well, take it to the next level and learn even more about style, study fashion, stay up on the trends. So I'm a big believer in paying somebody like you to stay up on all trends, tell me what yep or no, and that was so last year, don't wear it, so I don't have to, and then help me look my best. So again, I don't have to spend all the time on that because I have no desire to. I have other things I want to do. This is your wheelhouse, and I think it's so phenomenal that you're doing this. And I just will be telling so many people about this because it is a need, and it's not a superficial thing. I have seen it in my own life, and any woman will attest to this, I'm sure, how we feel when we walk out that door makes a difference on how we take charge of that day and show our girls as well to take charge of their day and their future and make bold decisions and go out there, and the sky's the limit. It's definitely different if you don't feel good about yourself for whatever reason.
I like to say that what you wear tells the world who you are. And it really tells the world is how we see ourselves and how we want to be seen. Do we want to stand out and get noticed? Do we want to hide? How are we feeling? Mm-hmm. And so we can dress for that. And let's say we wake up one day, we want to get noticed, or we want to stand out, or we really want to make a statement, but maybe we're not feeling it. We can use our clothes to shift our energy, to convey a message that we're stepping into. Mm-hmm. I like to tell my clients, dress for who you want, how you want to be seen. Dress for the role you want, the job you want, who you want to be. Mm-hmm. And that's so powerful. Now, I will say that I started my podcast about 2.5 years ago. And I look at that as it's my style library. We have in the School of Style an entire style library. But the podcast really is kind of like an A to Z. You want to know what you asked about pants earlier. You feel like you've lost
an episode for that.
I've got so many different podcasts on different topics, and it's a free resource.
Is your podcast a TV podcast or just audio?
It's audio. Some episodes are on YouTube, but
Okay.
it's all on Spotify, on Apple, anywhere you
So it's
listen to
audio only, so we're not seeing you, so we can see you on Instagram.
You can
And
see some of them. Some of them we do as audio podcasts, not all of them, but I'm working on that.
I see you as a TV podcast there, Michele, because this is very visual. So I definitely see a TV in your future because we want to see this. But I'm going to go and check out your podcast for sure because that's a great way to get the ball rolling and learning and educating because there's a lot you can just tell us that we need to know. So what's some like maybe one tip if somebody, and again, I'm probably like the best poster child for your ideal client is if I go into my closet and you're seeing things from many years ago, many sizes ago, many fads, and I try not to buy fads, but things that were in style, maybe not now, crops or whatever. Where do you start to clean out a closet? Do you just take everything out at once and throw it on the bed and start going through it? If it feels like overwhelm, how do you start to clean it out, keep what you know is good, keep what fits, and then replace the rest?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I think the thought of cleaning out your closet, I think, sends so many women into anxiety and panic. So I have a great suggestion that you're going to love. Okay. And so it is a really simple process that is not going to overwhelm you. Walk into your closet.
How you?
Walk into your closet and pull out 5 things that you know need to go. They're pilled. They don't fit you. Actually, I've got a whole download that you can find. It's top 10 closet offenders. It's a free download that you can print out and things to look for in your closet to get rid of that are just.
Where do we get that on the website?
Go to the Instagram and there's a link there. It's
okay,
called
we'll go to your Instagram.
Top 10 Closet Offenders.
Okay.
Because I found that so many women, what our problem is often that we have too many clothes, but it's also that we don't have the right clothes.
Oh,
and
yeah.
so when we have a guideline for what to pull out and we pull those out, people are like, my clients are like, oh my gosh, now I can see what I have, what fits me, what flatters me, that I actually like to wear. And then you can shop your closet. You can make new outfits. You can slice it and dice it, come up with something different. And you're like, hey, I just, pulled this out of my closet. Actually, I've had this jacket for years. I'm like,
this
hey,
whole thing. I love
it. So that's a great way to do it.
That's a great resource.
Now you can pull everything out of your closet if you want to. I don't do that because I'm like, I don't want to spend 3 days doing nothing but my closet. That is not my
you can't sleep on your bed because you put it all on your bed. It's like, no. Right. So, okay, here's another question. We're doing this. Now, here's my next dilemma, which probably many of women's dilemma. We pull things out, and now you have some really nice things that maybe fit for a moment, or maybe they went out of style pretty quickly, but they're still nice. How do you know what to give away, what to throw away, and what potentially you could sell on like a Poshmark or something? Do you have a good answer, like not a good answer, good ideas and hacks on that? What say you about giveaway, throw away, or sell?
Sure. Well, throw away. Okay, let's talk about that first. That's easiest. Anything that's ripped beyond repair, anything that's got stains, it's torn, it's just not something that could be fixed or something that somebody would want to wear. And it's just going to end up in the landfill anyway. So just go ahead, toss that. Now, what I like to do is I actually have a friend, I'll give her a lot of my cast-offs. And she has a whole group. She'll pass it to her mom and then her sister, and it like makes the rounds. And I know that, okay, I'm passing it to somebody who is going to wear it. I love that idea. Now, there are some things I put on Poshmark, some things that are maybe a little bit nicer, a little bit newer, maybe things I haven't worn as much, designer. Mm-hmm. If I think I can really, can sell it and really get something for it, then I'll put it on Poshmark. If it's like, it's middle of the road, maybe I'll put it in the let go of pile. I'll pass it to my friend first. Sometimes I'll just go and, make donations somewhere, just depending. But oftentimes making donations, as much as I want to, it can be inconvenient. So I'm like, okay, if I can just give it to a friend and know that it's going to go to somebody, I don't need the tax write-off. It's fine. So that's a great place. And then I feel good knowing it's gone to somebody who's going to appreciate it. And then I see my friend and she's wearing the jacket or she's wearing the shirt or whatever. And I'm like, okay, great. I love that it had another life.
I love that too. We have a place here called The Place, and it
Mhm.
actually helps women escaping domestic violence. And of course, there's what's the one? The Dress for Success. There's a lot of great, nonprofits besides, your normal Salvation Army, Goodwill, and all that. So we do have a couple of those pockets here that we try to give to as well. But something's wrong when I asked that question because I had all these really nice things in pristine condition, but there were dresses and other things. Take them over to like those cheapskate, they're called like cheapskate consignment shops and stuff, and they get rejected. I'm like, why did that dress get rejected? It's like, nobody wants to wear that. I'm like, seriously? I think I wore it once, maybe 5 years ago. So some of them are really, it's got to be on trend. And they, even if it's in perfect condition, they don't want it. And you feel like, wow, okay, maybe I shouldn't have bought that in the first place. I wasn't with my daughter when I bought that. So sometimes the consignment shops don't even want it, so you have to donate it away. But thank you for that tip. That's really good. So if it's beyond repair, throw it away, just make it. So I'm really excited about getting those 10 offenders in your closet and those 5 things a day. I think we can do anything one bite at a time, no matter what our goals are. So now as we wrap up, I could talk to you forever, and I'm going to be part of your community. This is so good. I'm going to be bringing everybody else part of your community because women, we need this. Are there bigger problems in the world? Yes, but this is something that affects our well-being. This affects our mental stability. It affects our day. It makes a difference if we go out today, or maybe we stay home and say, no, just not feeling like I look good enough to go out today. Who are we to tell ourselves that? Who are we to not go out and let the world see us, experience us? Because we've got so much more to give than what size our jeans are. But it is an issue, and we struggle with it. So many women. I've never met a woman that doesn't struggle with it in some way, shape, or form. Again, what's the first thing? What is the first thing a young girl says when she's going to go walk down the aisle? I've got to lose 10 pounds. She could be a size 4, and she's going to say, I got to go on a fast. I got to lose weight. It's the first thing we think of. Why? And I don't even say why. Do we know why? I'll start back Twiggy days and all of that, the models, and we got to be thinner. And it has affected us as much as we think, I know I shouldn't be thinking this way and I need to be kind to myself. It's still a constant struggle. Maybe like other types of addictions. Maybe it's that just we're addicted to this form of being bad to ourselves in that way, but we can overcome it with help like from you, because I believe it takes a village to live our life, and we need people that are better than us in all sorts of different realms. I help people podcast and do TV shows. People need people like you that help style and self-confidence. That's not my wheelhouse, and somebody else who needs me will have me, and helps make the world go round. So I'm going to give you the last couple of minutes. Tell us, if you're talking to some fabulous women that will be watching this show, what would you most want them to know today? If they're feeling like they're struggling, maybe in a big way or maybe in a small way, I'm going to give you the microphone. Tell us whatever it is you'd want us to walk away with from this time together.
Yeah. Well, Aurea, that's a great question. I came up with something recently, and it's called elegant acceptance. And I think a lot of us, I don't know if you've ever heard of radical acceptance. Radical acceptance is a term I learned through my daughter's going to therapy. And I thought, that sounds so harsh. But what about elegant acceptance? What if when we look in the mirror and we see a new wrinkle or we see a gray hair, what if we could, instead of saying, oh my gosh, I have to go get Botox, or I have to cover my roots, or I have to do this or lose 10 pounds or whatever, what if we could elegantly accept who we are, exactly where we are? Because what I know to be true is that we're not supposed to ever get back to where we used to be. You might think, well, in my 20s, my 30s, whatever, I had a great style. I was a size whatever. I could shop easily. Maybe now, not so much. Maybe your bust lines change. You've got a tummy. You've got a figure. But I want you to think about this. There is something called the cycle of style. The cycle of style. And what I have come to discover is that, maybe sometime early in our years, we figure out what our style is. And we dress for who we are. And we go along for a little while. And then all of a sudden, maybe something changes. Maybe we move. Maybe we had a new birthday. Or, our body changes, because our body will not stay the same. But in the cycle of style, we're going to hit that speed bump, right? There's going to be a change. We hit that speed bump. And what happens is so many women make that mean there's something wrong with me. I'm not worthy. I'm not good enough. I need to lose 10 pounds. But what if we could reframe that? That, oh, okay, this is an invitation. And what if you could get curious to see, well, what's next for me? What that invitation is telling you is that what did work is no longer working for you. Doesn't mean there's absolutely nothing wrong with you. And so when you can step into what's next, that's where the magic happens. When you can step into what your style is going towards, who you're stepping into, who you're evolving into, that is where the magic happens.
Gosh, I love that. I'm just leaning into every word you say. Elegant acceptance. How beautiful that is. Accepting that we're not going back. And men too, because men probably have some of the same things as they get older and their body changes as well. So this is a universal humanity type of issue that we all go through as we age. And I love what you said, get that wrinkle. We don't have to run out and get the Botox or we love to color our hair and do stuff to make ourselves feel prettier, of course, but that acceptance, okay. Here it is. And I'm like that too, because I'm going to age gracefully. I don't care about all the real stuff, but it's always been that body image that, oh my gosh, I don't fit into my pants. I'm going to stay home today, or I don't find anything to fit. That tends to bother me more than, a wrinkle or something like that. Even though my face is what's my moneymaker on stage, on camera, but it's really not. It's my personality. It's my shining the spotlight on wonderful people like yourself. So I'm not so concerned with that, but that really can derail some people that is an issue to them. So I love what you're doing. Tell us again how a woman can get involved. We're down to like the last 5 minutes. How if they can get involved and be a part of this journey, because I know it's going to help so many women and young girls. Do you work with mother daughters or work with teens as well? Get us early. Get us earlier than that.
I work with women in their teens and women in their 90s and everybody in between.
I love that. I love that. I put your website back up, shopstylefinder.com. You've got a style school. You've got your Instagram, and your Instagram link is right there on your website. So I encourage everybody to watch your Instagram. I mean, let me ask you this last question. 2 last questions. 1, how did you build your business to 157,000 followers on Instagram? Any business owner would kill for that type of following.
What's crazy is that with what I do, I've shared with you the story about Nancy, and, I have so many other stories of what I do with my clients. And I'd never thought to actually videotape it and put it on camera. Well, my husband said, he's actually the CEO of StyleFinder. He said, oh, you need to start videotaping what you do with your clients and the transformation and the teaching of the style tips. And so I had a client come in one day, and I was working with her, and I was showing, okay, here's where you don't want your jacket to stop. And here's where here's how you want things to hang. And we videotaped it, just a short clip. I literally put it on TikTok, and it was funny because TikTok, but anyway, TikTok was a starting point, but I put it on TikTok at a stoplight with a trending sound clip, put it up there. It got like 2 million views. I was like, what has happened? And I told my husband, I said, you're onto something. And so what I started doing was more videos like that. And then I started creating reels, putting them on Instagram, and things just started to pop off. Now things started to pop off on StyleFinder even more. We've got about, I think, 262,000 on Shop StyleFinder. But we really started to focus on Shop StyleFinder. And so we started, building this following. And I have women every day that tell me, oh, I found you on Instagram. But we started teaching what we do. We started showing the transformation and taking what we do and just chunking it down into bite-sized tips. And so my advice for anybody is to show what you do, show the transformation, show people what they will experience working with you, show people how to have a better life, how to change something. We're always showing like how to do a half tuck or how to look 10 pounds thinner or whatever.
Oh, wait a minute. We didn't get to that one. We did that one in the beginning of this show.
But we're always showing that. And I know this gets into a whole other issue that a lot of women don't want to show their face. They don't want to be seen on camera.
Okay.
And so this is where it's not about you. It's not about us.
Helping others.
It's about help. It's about making a difference. And so, that's a whole other issue but there are ways to get on Instagram and do it and teach without showing your face.
Yeah, of course. We've done it so well. Kudos to your husband for saying you need to do this. We all need somebody to push us along, say, get on camera, do this, because the magic is happening behind the scenes. And this day and age with social media, if you just get it on the scenes, you will find your tribe. You will find the people that have been looking for you and waiting for you to show up. And I love you said earlier, do it messy. Done is better than perfect. So people don't want highly curated things on social media anyway. They want to see that, you guys tucking your shirts in and making it messy and that doesn't work. Let's do this. Oh yeah, got it. They love the behind the scenes stuff. So my last question to you, which I love to ask mostly all of my guests that come on the show, my whole brand before I got into the get celebritized and celebritizing your business, your image, your career, was living your legacy. And it still is, because we do it all to live our legacy. And I love to help women especially live their legacy on purpose. So in the last minute or two that we have, how do you want to be remembered? What do you hope your legacy will be when this life is all done?
That's a great question. I want women to feel good about themselves. I've had so many of my clients tell me, especially with the podcast, because I'm always infusing self-image tips and helping women and telling women, we're not here to judge you, and just you are beautiful. And so I want women to remember me as someone who empowered women. And I want women to feel empowered and to go on to empower other women in their lives. I want it to be a ripple effect.
Yeah. You're doing it. You are living your legacy on purpose, Michele. You are making it happen. You're going to make a difference in women now and the next generation and the next generation. And I see a change coming because of women like you. Grab all of us by the hand so we can make a difference together and start even empowering even more and starting a real mission and a real, movement, should I say, of helping women love themselves from the inside out, no matter, and the outside in, I should say. No matter what size we are, no matter what anything we are, to walk out the door with confidence and feeling beautiful about ourselves. So thank you so much for being here. You have been fabulous. Cannot wait to hear your podcast. Cannot wait. We're going to go listen to the podcast Style by Mary Michele. Join up your programs, get some free info from your Instagram, and we will all feel better and look better. And because you watch this show, Get Celebritized, you'll be earning more, you'll be living more, and you'll be giving back more to your favorite charities and causes, because you'll have all these clothes you can give away too and sell them and give them to charity. Give the money to charity. Thank you, Michele, so much for being here. It's been a pleasure. I want to stop back and talk to you one time and do a show just about holidays and how to dress up for the holidays. I think that would be a great episode to do.
That would be fun. That would be great. Aurea, thank you so much for having me. This has been wonderful.
Thank you. It's wonderful for me too. I will see you on the other side for sure. Have a great day, everyone. Thanks for watching Get Celebritized. This is Aurea.